This conference will now be recorded.
Please stand for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that we can be here today. We're grateful for your love and your grace, for living in the U.S., the freedoms that we have, and for this wonderful place, Happy Trails. Lord, give us guidance. Help us to maintain and improve the gifts that you've given us here, and give us love for one another. Bond us together. Guide us and bless us. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag The May 28th, 2026 Happy Trails Community Association Board of Directors meeting is now called to order.
Okay, roll call. Jennifer Ellswick, President. Becca Paulson, Vice President. Cliff Giroux, Board Secretary.
Here.
Fred Rand, Treasurer. Fred is absent. John Chilcote, Director.
Here.
Thank you. Homeowners statement period guidelines. Speaking time. Each homeowner may speak once per motion for no more than 2 minutes. Virtual attendance. If attending virtually, please keep your audio muted. To speak, raise your virtual hand, and when recognized, state your name and lot number, just as you would if attending in person. Purpose. During an open meeting, members have the right to comment on a pending motion prior to the board's vote. This is a time for comments, not a question and answer session or debate. Relevance. Comments should be focused on the motion currently under formal discussion. Conduct. Negative or personal remarks directed at fellow residents, association employees, or members of the board of directors will not be permitted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Darlene. Cliff, I believe that you have the next 5.
I move to approve the minutes from the April 15th Board of Directors meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Directors, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I move to approve the minutes from the April 23rd Board of Directors meeting.
Do I have a second? Directors, any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Cliff?
I move that we approve the minutes from the April 7th executive session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Cliff?
I move to approve the minutes from the April 16th executive session.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I move that we approve the minutes from the April 23rd executive session.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. John? John?
I, John Chilcote, move to approve the Happy Trails 2026-2027 activities budget.
Is there a second? Directors, any questions, comments? Owners, any questions? Any comments? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Becca.
I move to approve the Lapidary Club's request to purchase fume extraction safety equipment in the amount of $3,531.67 to be paid out of operating.
Is there a second? Directors, questions, comments? Owners, any questions, any comments? All those,
I just wanted to make a comment, just so everybody's clear. This is being paid totally by Happy Trails because it is a safety issue for the Lapidary Club. Therefore, it did not fall under the rules of percentage basis. I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that.
thank you, Becca. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh, thank you. We need roll call.
Roll call vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux, Fred Rand is absent, John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Cliff?
I move to approve the proposal from Arizona League Pros for the demolition of the indoor spa and further to replace rubber mats from the Perfect Surfaces USA for an amount not to exceed $15,000 to be paid out of operating.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a question and probably a comment about this one. I am 100% in favor of tearing out the spa. I'm not sure that we should invest in mats at this point in time because we really don't know what we're going to ultimately use that space for. And there's no direct access from like the current exercise room into that exercise room. So somebody would have to come out of the exercise room, go through the pool gate and go in the other area if they wanted to stretch. So I have some concerns about the mats.
This last week, was out shopping around and I found those exact mats enough to do the whole floor for probably under $300. Whole lot cheaper than $15,000.
Okay. Doug, I see you walking up, if you'd like to maybe address these two questions.
Thank you. The mats themselves do not cost $15,000. The mats that I investigated from Perfect USA Surfaces, whatever, were under $1,000. They were a tongue and groove 2x2 mat. The other dollar amount is for the demolition of the existing spa and getting it all removed that's needed per City of Surprise standards with their building permit and inspections. So most of that is just removing the base and around any plumbing or electrical and capping that all off, pulling all the wiring, and then terminating anything coming from the pool pump room. So that both ends had no access for doing anything. The structure the hole was going to be filled in with dirt minus 6 inches. Rebar was going to be drilled and epoxied into the edge of the spa, and then 4 to 6 inches of concrete would be filling in the top. There'd be a slight slope, but that would be existing. None of the cool deck area would be removed. So all we have to do is replace the concrete inside the spa. That's the only concrete going to be poured in there. The floor drains would stay intact. The electrical for the lighting would stay intact. Everything above the decking would stay intact.
What if we ever wanted to use the room and it needed to be level?
Then you're talking about removing everything.
Okay,
It's a very slight slope. I don't know what else could be done unless you, say if you want to put storage racks up or anything, you might have to adjust the bases of the racks to make it plumb. But like I said, it's just enough for the water to drain if anything splashed out of the existing spa out to the surrounding drains. Plus there was one catch drain in the far corner. So all those would stay.
Doug, could we, if we amended the motion and addressed the rubber mats later after we've just, after we've investigated the lead that Cliff noted, and adjusted that, was it $1,000?
It was under 1,000 on my end.
So we could adjust
I
it.
found some more economically.
Yeah.
Mine were 2 foot by 2 foot by 3/8 of an inch thick, tongue and groove. And they could have been secured with two-sided tape. And so that was all I investigated at the time.
Okay.
They were 2 by 2. I think they were closer to a 1/2 inch, and they had the interlocking
Right.
tabs on them. So they would probably sit.
Anything could be utilized. This was just a recommendation that everybody agreed on at the BGM.
Cliff, would you like to amend your motion that at this time we will not include rubber mats?
I would like to move that we amend this motion to not include the rubber mats, and we'll handle that in-house.
John? Did you second?
I seconded that, yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Direct-
Question,
Sure.
are we going to remain at 15,000 or remove it down to 14?
Well, it's a not to exceed 15,000, so I don't
Okay.
think we should,
All right.
we know we're going to take 1,000 off.
Very
so-
good.
Directors, any other questions? Owners, any questions?
Hi, I'm Aaron, Lot 536. I'm just curious, $15,000 and we're using Leak Pro. Did we get other bids on this? Because it seems like Leak Pro is doing a whole lot of work around here. And I'm questioning them doing it and why $15,000 to be a stretching room. It just seems like a lot of money, and I think maybe there's another way we can do this, or maybe put off spending this kind of money now.
Actually, it is not just for a stretching room. We have to do something with the indoor spa. Because right now we have an indoor spa that is a safety hazard because it is not operational and it has not been closed off or filled in. Doug, would you like to answer the question, please?
Thank you. We interviewed Arizona Leak Pros prior to asking for a price. And they said they were on site, they still are on site, and that they could do it economically sounder for us to do this at that time. So we spoke about it at BGM and decided we would pursue that after they gave us the price.
Doug,
So no, we didn't pursue any other numbers from anybody else.
Doug, if I'm remembering correctly, last fall, we looked at a price for $60,000 to take it out and $60,000 to repair it.
Pretty close to that, yes, but repairing, that price went up a few months after that, probably up over $100,000. So this was more economical to do it this way.
So we did have maybe 10 months ago now, other bids with respect to either replacing it or filling it in.
Correct.
Thank you. You might as well stay put.
I don't know how to work. Okay. Gwen Gilbert, lot 2106. Hold up, Doug. I have a question about the cement. You said 4 to 6 inches, and I was just thinking that sounds a little thick for something you're not driving on. And was wondering if we had to go with that thickness. Wondering if we had to go with 4 to 6 inches of cement.
It's recommended as it's a standard. If you go less than that, no matter what, it's more apt to crumble. And you can't reinforce it well enough if it's not thick enough. So it's a 3,000 PSI concrete, but it'll also have the reinforcing bar incorporated into it to give it that much more benefit.
Thank you. Any other owner questions?
I'm just curious, has it been determined, Sandy Green, lot 1607, is it been determined that this spa, we know that it has to be filled in, and Doug's worked his butt off to get that done and get the bid, and it's a great bid. Em and I looked into what it would cost, and just one of the contractors that looked at it said it's going to be over $35,000 just to tear it out, dump concrete in. So my opinion, it's a great bid that he has. But I think my concern is, has it been determined what exactly that room's going to be used for? Yes, we got to get it filled in. I totally agree with that and get it done quickly. But also, when will the board be looking at what the actual use of that room is? Because that will determine other things down the road.
The board will entertain options, but at this time, our key is to get that spa filled in and reduce our liability of an inoperable spa. So at this point, no determination for the room, which is why the motion was amended to remove the mats, because we're not going to have a stretching room.
Correct. And plus the fact we had a survey last fall. We had 4 focus groups this winter and spring. And with the amount of people that responded to the survey and to the focus groups meetings, there wasn't a lot of input, except let's not spend the excess money to replace it. A lot of people didn't even know we had one. And so now, when we did ask the board, we sent it to the board a few months ago, correct? The board put it back on BGM's plate as to what to do with it. So we made the effort to say, well, we know that people don't want it. We want to do something with it. So we recommended we fill it in, put the mats in there as a stretching area, because people had asked for that. Not many, because like I said, we didn't have much for responses, but the consensus was they wanted it for something. Now, what the board wants to do with it, that's up to them. It was just our recommendation on what to do with it from what little bit of input we had. So that's why we're here today.
Thank you, Doug. Any other owners?
Marla Festinese, 2323. Thank you for removing the mats. I do have a question regarding that room. If it were to be used as a stretching area, because it gets hot in there. So is there proper ventilation, or is that going to be something that's going to have to be looked into?
It's a good question, Marla, thank you. When we get other options for the room, then we'll start investigating if we have the proper ventilation, if we have the proper air conditioning, if we have the proper egress, ingress for what we choose to use that room for. So at this point, the key is to get the spa
Out.
out.
Okay.
That's
So-
what we're doing now.
And I know you guys mentioned something about storage at one time. We have a lot of things. We have tables over on the other side. I don't know if you're going to keep them, but it would be a great, and I'm one of those persons that did not know you had an indoor spa over there. I did not know we had a sauna over in NC1. So
It will be a future discussion, what is actually going to happen with the room. So
okay. Thank you.
any other owner questions? Roll call vote.
Becca Paulson?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Cliff Giroux?
Yes.
Fred is absent. John Chilcote?
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Cliff, can we go back to the TV?
Okay, I move that we approve the purchase and installation of a 163-inch LED monitor to replace the projector with motorized mobile stand from CTI and New Line for an amount not to exceed $70,000 to be paid out of the reserve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Directors, comments?
Hold on just a moment. Can I just get confirmation? Cliff, did you say 170 or 70? Okay, thank you.
Are we good? Okay. Comments? Directors? I have a comment. I know that we discussed several months ago replacing the I know we discussed several months ago about replacing the projector and using the same screen that we had had. And I'm going from memory here, but I'm going to say it was around $50,000 to replace the projector.
No, a little bit higher. I think it was around 60 or 70.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, and after careful research, the BG&M committee thought that perhaps a different option would be more viable and more mobile, since it comes with a stand that you can move it around, and would actually be a better solution than the solution of the projector. So that's why the projector, the whole projector and replacing the projector was kind of tossed aside. And now this motion for an LED monitor with a movable stand. So a little bit different direction. Other directors, comments? Owners, comments?
Marla Festinese, 2323. What do we need it for? Oh, 2323, Marla Festinese. What do we need the LED for opposed to a projector?
This is going to correct the center projector now. The hopes are is to update everything and eventually get to LED screens. But it originally is going to replace the center projector, the backlit one, which is the same cost as projector, or the cost of the projector. It's just dated now. The projectors are. So
But what do we use it for?
for the fellowship uses it. We use it for concerts, for the movies. It's used for. I know they use it for Dancing with the Stars. It's, I mean, a lot of things.
I
'Cause I
believe we
do
use
know
it
that
for most all the activities in here.
Right. Theater group uses it a lot for their shows.
Okay. We couldn't
Bingo.
stick with something. Well, we got all of these.
Well, right. And
We
then,
could-
and the issue with the projectors is that if they break, to maintenance them and then to have them high, hung so high up with an LED screen, you're just plugging and going. So it's a little easier to manage and then to update as well.
Okay. So that's not something maybe that could be put off? It doesn't sound like a real serious item that needs to be done, like
We
what we're
do,
doing with the pool, things like that.
For people here this summer, they enjoy the movies. It is an immediate need that we get the center projector replaced. We've been without a projector for a year now.
I will say that the center projector is on its way out. We've been repairing it as it goes, but it's done.
If I'm correct, I think the fellowship, John, you might know, didn't we get something? I think we put money into something. I don't know if it was a projector because I donated money to the fellowship.
The overhead projectors. The fellowship doesn't actually use this one anymore in the center.
Okay.
Maybe occasionally, but not very often. But the theater club uses it, and it's used during the summer for shows and things. So
Where are the funds coming from? Reserve.
It's a reserve item. Owners,
Hi, it's Erin, 536. I just think if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I just think we just keep spending more and more and more money all the time. And I think there's certain items that can wait. And I don't think we really use it that much right now that it immediately needs to be replaced. And I've heard all your arguments about it. I just want you to know how I feel about it. And there's probably other people who do too, but I just think we can wait on these expenditures.
thank you. Any other owners?
Maynard Methuen, 1621. My comment would be, we have a lot of stuff that we need to get done around here before we're concerned about screens and projectors, and we're not doing it. So we need to be looking at fixing this place up.
Thank you, Maynard. And we are looking at fixing the place up. You will start to see more things happening, everyone. Any other owners? Roll call vote.
Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred is absent. John Chilcote,
yes,
Jennifer Ellswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
I, John Chilcote, move to table change 15 to the DRC guidelines concerning outdoor cooking facilities because we've gotten recent input. So
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, explain.
So we've gotten recent input, and I don't believe that the community has had enough time to voice their opinions. So the DRC committee is going to pull this back and work on it. There will be some information presented in tomorrow's e-blast. You're going to do that? Okay. And this change affects sections 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. So those of you who live in those sections, this is about having the potential for having an outdoor cooking facility and counters and wet bars on your lot. So we would like to get feedback. The next DRC meeting will be on the 9th, and we'll be discussing it at that time.
Thank you, John. And I would just like to say that this motion is tabled and it will come back to the board. But if you have input one way or the other, or you feel very strongly one way or the other about full-size appliances and a full-size kitchen on a patio, please attend the DRC meeting on the 9th and give input to the DRC committee at that meeting. Thank you. All in favor of tabling the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
I, John Chilcote, move to approve the proposed DRC design guidelines change number 16, which is landscaping and grading guidelines. It's item 16 under portable storage units. And let me just go ahead.
Second.
All right, let me read what this is about. Landscaping and grading guidelines on page 10 of the DRC guidelines. We want to propose a change to this that addresses an inconsistency in the current guidelines that restricts the villa properties from installing larger storage units, even in cases when adequate spaces exist or space exists. The change allows for flexibility while maintaining full DRC oversight for placement, site, and community impact.
So this, John, I have a question. This would only impact storage units in the villas or storage units throughout the resort?
It clarifies some of the language about storage units elsewhere, but doesn't change anything, just a clarification. But the change for shed styles is a maximum of 80 square feet total, not to exceed 10 feet in height, must be located toward the rear of the lot and may not encroach beyond property setback lines in any direction. That's for all of the areas except for the villas. And then this is added, except for section 2, the villas, in which case it shall not encroach beyond the property lines nor interfere with adjacent property owners' access. The placement must be appropriate in size and configuration of the lot as determined by the DRC. So
everything stays the same except the addition. Thank
Right.
you. Owners, any questions about this change to the DRC guidelines?
Here again. Marla Festinese, lot 2323. I appreciate you doing the previous one and tabling it. But I do have a question. And when I used to write minutes and prepare everything, things sometimes that would go along with the agenda, like something like this, or what you're talking about, would help people understand what you guys are talking about, opposed to just a one few word like landscape grading guidelines. So having an attachment would be a really helpful tool. Some of us, some don't always get to go to the meetings. Some always don't get to go onto front steps because they're not fully sure how to work it. So having an attachment would really be a nice added feature.
Thank you, Marla.
Good afternoon, Roberta Ernest, 996712. I just want to clarify, John, because I didn't, are you talking about just the shed style portable?
we're talking about the shed style and the cabinet styles. The cabinet styles are 77 high and 54 wide by 30 inches deep. Everywhere else in the community, you can have up to 4 on each lot, but in the villas and section 7 and 8, you can only have 2.
Okay, so you're looking to increase the number of the 4 from 2 to 4, I'm sorry, basically, in the villas.
No, just 2 in the villas.
Okay, well, that's what it is right now in the DRC guidelines, right?
No. Well, maybe that's, you're right. That's the current wording right now.
Okay,
So we're just changing the shed style, and there's only like 2 or 3 lots in the whole villas that this really applies to, because so many of them it don't have the room, or it wouldn't be able to be behind the lot.
okay, so on the shed style, the larger one, we're talking the larger ones, you're looking at possibly putting those or allowing those in the villas. Am I understanding that? Okay.
8
and-
by 10.
Okay, and they're not going to infringe on the setback, is that what I'm hearing?
They will not go past the property line. The villas have a zero line, a zero lot line. And so like, for instance, the current sheds in the villa areas are on the property line.
Okay.
So we've allowed a temporary shed, which this would be up to the property line, but it can't block anybody else's access
Okay.
to their property or their sheds.
So now I have a question. The 4 portable ones can always sit within the property setback lines, and I've seen them throughout. But the shed styles cannot. They have to abide by the setback. So what is the reasoning as to why they have to abide by the setback as opposed to the smaller 4 units? I'm going to say 4 units because you can have up to 4 are allowed to sit in the setback
You mean in the villas?
everywhere.
Everywhere? I can't answer that.
Okay.
I have.
Because if they're in the setback, they're in the setback. So I'm going to ask and advocate, and if you don't do it here, I'll talk to you next Tuesday at your DRC meeting, that even the larger portable, because they are portable sheds, be able to sit within the setback of the lot lines.
You mean resort wide?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, bring that up to the DRC committee.
Okay, thank you.
With that question to be brought up to the DRC committee, would you like to table this until your next meeting?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, because this may change the wording here, but I think it's going to change words elsewhere. But yeah, we can table this. It's a good point.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of tabling this until the DRC meets again to address setbacks? Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, John.
So how am I doing so far? Okay, so the next one is change 17 to the DRC guidelines. And let me read my motion. I, John Chilcutt, move to approve the proposed DRC guidelines, change 17, landscape grading guidelines, villa section.
Second.
Second.
Okay, let me read what this is about.
Why does an employee keep seconding stuff? That's totally unethical.
Dave, can you mute that mic, please?
The landscaping and grading guidelines on page 8 and the villa section on page 23 are changed in this change. Due to the unique design of the villa areas, which include both shared and quad spaces and common areas immediately adjacent to individual residences, a modified review process is appropriate. This change codifies, in other words, it writes down how operations and the DRC is currently addressing landscaping and other changes in these areas. So what we're doing is writing down what we've actually been doing for 3 or 4 years, as well as defining 2 new terms in differentiating these actions. The terms are softscape and hardscape. Softscape is vegetation and irrigation related to landscaping, and hardscape is like pavers. So currently, softscape, landscaping things, would be addressed by a work order through operations. And hardscape would be addressed to the DRC for a permit. So that's what this change is about.
So John, just so I understand, you are really just writing the language in the DRC guidelines as to what the DRC committee has been doing all along. Thank you. Directors, anything else? Owners? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
And last but not least, I, John Chilcutt, move to approve the proposed DRC design guidelines, change 18, under construction, new and or remodeling guidelines regarding gazebos.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And so the terminology just adds one statement. The area covered by the gazebo is intended for covered outside seating and entertainment only. In other words, it's not a parking facility for a vehicle. So that's the clarification.
Directors, any other comments? Owners?
Roberta Ernest, 9967112. Just a question. How is that different than when, and I don't have one, so I'm not here defending it or either way. How is that different than when people leave Happy Trails for the summer and they take their cars and pull them all the way up onto patios and store them there while they're gone? Because I don't view a patio as being something that would be holding a car to. I'm just saying, when we make these changes, we have to consider everything it opens up. So that's a question. Thanks.
Thank you, Roberta. I think I'll take this, and I think the difference is that people were putting up portable gazebo-type structures that weren't even wood. They were more like tents or canvas, and they were using these tent or canvas structures while they were on site to park their cars in, to keep their cars out of the sun. So I think we're talking about two different things, Roberta, when people are gone pulling on their patio versus when they're here. John, I think that was the intent after DRC had to turn down a couple of people who wanted to park their cars in canvas gazebos. Thank you. Any other? Call for the vote. All those in favor of not allowing cars to park in gazebos, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
I move to approve Cindy Jones as a member of the Communications Committee.
Do I have a second?
Cindy Jones applied for the committee. She's attended a meeting. She was interviewed, I believe, by the committee chair, Bill. I don't know that any committee members were there, were they? Did Bill, but the committee voted, and they voted to put her name forward as a member of our committee.
Directors. Owners, any questions? All in favor of approving Cindy Jones as a member of the Communications Committee, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Cliff.
I move to propose for the approval of the town center pool decking. Yeah. Where's the rest of it? Here it is. Okay. From Landmark Aquatics for the resurfacing of the town pool deck for an amount not to exceed $140,000 to be paid out of reserve.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Do you want to explain?
Why does Darlene keep seconding things? She has no right to.
Okay.
Doug, do you want to come up? I know that you have been actively involved in this. Directors, do you have any questions, comments, ideas?
Well, Landmark, I think, is the one that's doing the pool repair, and it's only makes sense to have them do the pool deck at the same time. No?
No. No. Arizona League Pros is working on the pool but We did receive 3 prices for this pool deck. Quite a spread in between high and low. BGM selected the middle price. They were very concise, explained their product very well, procedures, everything. We also had a good history with them. They did DC2's pool deck. And so we decided to go with them in lieu of the other 2 bids. So there was substantial discussion, but I personally was involved with all 3 as far as speaking with the pool contractors who were planning on bidding this. And they were all very good as far as talking the talk. But when it comes down to the numbers, walking the walk, we saw some different paces. So we're very comfortable, BGM, very comfortable with accepting this bid.
Thank you, Doug. Directors, any questions? Doug, you might as well stay. Doug, I believe that this is the same company, you're recommending the same company that did the NC2 pool deck, is that correct?
Correct.
And Bradley, if I am correct, they stand behind their work and they are now doing a bit of warranty work at NC2. So they did good work, they are the same people, and we know that they stand behind their work because now they're doing a piece of warranty work. Am I on the right page with all of this?
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you. Owners, any questions from owners?
How long is David Proctor 909? How long is the warranty on that?
The warranty on the pool deck, Chin?
I believe it's a 2-year workman warranty on it. I'd have to double check that number, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 years.
Thank you, Bradley. Marla, if you could wait just a second. Go
Lot
ahead. Doug.
405.
Hang on.
Yes.
Answer the previous question. Yes, 2 years is a standard for replacement. Longevity, all 3 contractors said 10 to 12 years.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. I would also like to add that this is coming before the board now because the pool is closed for the pool crack project and pool crack repair. So it makes sense if the pool is down to replace the pool decking at the same time so that we don't do all of the work on fixing the cracks in the pool, fill the pool back up, then have to empty the pool again to do the pool deck. So it simply makes sense to get all of this work done at the same time so that when the pool opens, the work around the pool will be completed.
Marla Festinese, lot 2323. So the only question, I don't know if it may be for Brad, when we were, and for Doug, you guys were talking about the roots that had gone under, and that's why you guys, had to kill them at one time because it was destroying around the pool. So will that all make sure that that's done before there's anything?
So what you're referring to was the palm trees that infested or that made their way into the indoor spa, and that's why the indoor spa ended up getting just decommissioned.
Right.
So the palm trees didn't affect anything else at the town center pool. That's confirmation after our pressure testing that Arizona Elite Pros did while they're looking at the surface of the pool. So the palm trees were removed because of that, and there is no other problems that we can tell at this moment.
Okay. And another question, well, it goes with the decking, because I know you can put those little hooks in case, or something, in case you ever decide to attach something.
Yeah, you're speaking like an eye hook or something like that,
Eye
correct?
hook, or in case you guys decide to put shades. like you're doing in NC1?
I believe the idea is to look into something non-permanent into the deck, more like what we did at NC2. So I think there is talk of looking for more shade coverage at the town center pool, just not doing something permanent, like something, into the concrete, more like the leaf shade that we're doing at NC1.
And is that the one that weighs like 600
Correct.
pounds?
Correct.
But you have, oh, that's a lot. Okay.
Thank you, Marla.
Sharon O'Leary, 602. Just curious, should I assume that the pool at the town center is not going to be open any this summer? Do you think?
My crystal ball is a little foggy, so I don't want to give you an exact date, but I mean, it's going to be closed until we can get this work done.
Yeah, but should I just forget about it over the summer?
There's NC1 or NC2 to enjoy, or the
Oh, no,
villas.
I'm not saying that. I realize that, but.
Yeah. I mean,
Thank you, Sharon. Doug?
Let me say that we did not anticipate it to be closed this long. The reason why you don't see anything going on right now is that we're at the mercy of the city of Surprise pulling the permits for the plumbing that has to be done that we've discovered. There's more extensive work than what we anticipated. The good news is no extra cost to us because of it. Arizona Leak Pros is covering that for us. But it's the fact that I would say possibly through August, and I hope I'm being overzealous, whatever you want. I hope it's not closed that long, but we will open it up as soon as we can. That's why we did not do the work this last December. We knew there were going to be issues, just didn't know the extent of them at the time. So patience is a virtue, and please bear with us and don't shoot the messenger.
Thank you, Doug. And I just would like to kind of add on to that to say we are certainly blessed that we have other pools. Thank you, Sharon.
we have some online.
Okay. What have we got online?
Danita Lake, go ahead and unmute yourself. Danita, are you still there?
Okay, I guess we'll move
I
on.
am still here. You muted me. I would like to know, where can we find all the work? Because didn't Leak Pro do $70,000 worth of repairs on the pool 2 summers ago? I would like to know, did we bid this out? And where can we, as owners, just access this information? That's my question. Thank you for unmuting me.
Thank you. Doug did come up and he did say that it was bid out, 3 bids, and BGM's recommendation was for Landmark Aquatics.
And Landmark Aquatic only did work at NC1 before. That's the only time, as far as I know, that they've done work here. So the first job they did was at NC2, I'm sorry, and that's it. And if the board approves.
Thank you, Bradley.
May I ask real quickly, just to follow up, where can we see the other bids? And my second question was, didn't Leak Pro do $70,000 worth of work at the town center pool, 2 summers ago?
Arizona Leak Pros has not done work for us in the history that I'm aware of. Their first, Arizona Leak Pros is fixing the crack in the town center pool. Landmark Aquatic is the one that's on getting the bid for the town center pool. And the only work they have done is at NC2 last summer, which was not 70,000. I believe that bid came in at 40,000 or somewhere around there.
Okay, where can we access that information?
You can attend the committee meetings, which is where the committees go over those bids and which is where we bring them to.
Oh, but if you can't attend the meeting, I mean, spend part of my time in New York. Where can we go online and access this information? Just
We do
for
not
our
post.
own information, that's all. I'm just not trying to be difficult, just asking legitimate, important questions.
Okay, but we do not post bids from vendors online. That is a breach of confidentiality to our vendors. I'm going to call for the roll call vote.
Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. Jennifer Elswick,
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you.
No.
I move to approve Martin Gilbert as a member of the Maintain and Improve Committee.
Second.
Would you like to discuss the interview process with Martin?
I can do that. I'm helping Cliff out when he is not here. I'm now I guess you'd call it substitute liaison to the Maintenance and Improvement Committee for the summer. We did interview Martin. The group was Sandy Green, the chair, Bradley, and myself. We interviewed several people one day, 7 or 8 anyway. And we all agreed that at this point in time, we would like to ask that Martin Gilbert be approved to join that committee.
Thank you, Becca. Owners? All those in favor of approving Martin Gilbert as a member of the Maintain and Improve Committee, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, thank you. Cliff?
I move to approve the creation of a preferred vendor list where projects under $50,000 can be approved by the board to go to the preferred vendor without 3 bids. The preferred vendor list will be vetted annually.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Directors, any questions?
No questions, just just comments. After being in the business for 46 years, I found that when you get vendors that you can count on, you build a relationship with them, and you can call them and they're going to be there. They're not going to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get a hold of you to give you a bid, and they're not going to take forever to give you that bid. They're going to be fair and know that we're there with them. They're a preferred person on our list. And I have found that in all my years of construction, it worked really, really well.
I have a question. How are we putting that list together and who's involved in putting that list together?
Good question. I think that we will start, and Cliff, maybe you can answer this, but I think we will start with vendors that the resort has successfully used, who have stood behind their warranty, and who we have had good success with. And as the new Maintain and Improve Committee gets going, they will probably start to develop more relationships. So this will be in the beginning and probably ongoing, a moving target where we have vendors that do good work, they stay on the list. We have a vendor that does not do good work, they fall off the list. It's not going to be, this is the list. It will be a constantly rotating list of people that we do business with. As Cliff said, and I certainly do not have 46 years in construction, but Cliff does. So I think that that's what needs to happen. We need to start building relationships. I know that I have heard for the 2 years that I have been on the board of directors, the BG&M committee has a bad time or a hard time or a difficult time getting people to come out to bid projects for Happy Trails. Now, this is not just an anomaly to Happy Trails. It is an anomaly to most HOAs because they come out, they give a bid, they are one of 3 bids, or maybe just one of 2 bids, or maybe just 1 bid, whatever the case may be. But they know that they're not going to get the work until the committee reviews it, until the proposal goes to the board of directors and the board of directors approves it. So often vendors will say, I'm not going to go bid an HOA project when I can go bid a project for an apartment where there's 1 approver, or I can go bid an office building where there's 1 approver, or I can go build an individual's home where they make the decision. So we are faced with 2 things where HOA bids are not vendors' most popular bids to do. That's number 1. But number 2, it does take a while to get through the process of an HOA. So if we have a preferred vendors list and we start working with these people, we will have better opportunities to make things happen more expeditiously at Happy Trails. Owner questions?
Sharon O'Leary, 602. So the vendors you're talking about are the ones who do the work at Happy Trails, as opposed to the vendors book up in the library. That's 2 different sets of vendors, and the vendors that come to Vendors Day. There's 3 sets. So these are just the people that we try hard to get to come and do our work here for Happy Trails.
Excellent explanation. Yes.
Donna Wisdom, 379. All I want to know if the vendors are going to be ROC. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Register of Contractors.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about and actually I'm going to let Cliff talk about the Register of Contractors because he and I had a very lengthy conversation where I learned a great deal about the ROC. So Cliff.
Okay, for 46 years as a contractor, you not only have to be licensed, bonded, and insured, and proven. You don't have to take any test or anything in Washington. But my thoughts are here. They have to be, if we're going to work with them, they're going to be licensed, they're going to be bonded, they're going to have an insurance, and to work here, they're going to have $1 million insurance policy to cover them. They're going to prove that they got state industrial insurance, so we're not liable for anybody getting hurt on Happy Trails property.
Right.
And that will be a standard here.
Okay, yeah, because in Arizona you have to be. The only thing I wonder, because Reginald and Reggie Miller bid on certain projects, and I know Reginald's not ROC. He was, but he let it lapse. I'm not sure about Reggie, but will they be on that vendor list?
Great. If they don't meet the guidelines, the insurance policy and everything, they will not make the preferred list.
Doug Doty, lot 630. I'm going to elaborate on what Cliff stated. Here, to have a registered contractor's license, you need to take 2 tests. One is business, to prove that you're capable of having a business. And 2 is to get a trade license or a general contracting license, either commercially, residentially, or both. Now, there's a list of contractors, and I started looking at it a good 2 months ago. There's over 47,000 licensed contractors in this state. There are a lot of out-of-state contractors who are licensed here also. So Yeah, and those tests are not easy. When I was a mason contractor, I was licensed commercial. I had to take the test twice. But I passed. I had my license for 14 years. So, yes, they will be scrutinized. Now, as far as what you asked about Reggie, there is a handyman clause up to $1,000 that they do not have to be licensed. That includes material and labor. Even if you buy the material, that's included in $1,000. So, in a nutshell, that's about it that I can help with.
Thank you, Doug. Any other owner comments?
I think we have some online too, but before we get to online, we got one more.
Marla Festanese, lot 2323. Cliff, can you repeat? I could not hear what he was actually stating in the back, your motion. Can you restate your motion? Yeah, so I can comment on it.
I move to approve the creation of a preferred vendor list where projects under $50,000 can be approved by the board to go to the preferred vendor without 3 bids. The preferred vendor list will be vetted annually.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Now, with that, what, 50,000 and under, will we get to hear about it as homeowners? Will it be on the agenda?
Yes, the board will vote on it.
Okay. It's just a question. I'm just confirming.
Well, the
Okay,
board will
because
vote on it.
there have been some votings that were not in open session, and we do not know the privy to that. So I'm just curious. That's why I'm asking the question.
Thank you, Marla. Did we have something online?
Chuck, go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Chuck, if you want to unmute yourself. No luck? Okay.
I'm going to call for the roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's dollars. Let's do roll call.
Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellsworth.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Hi, John.
I believe there were 3 raised hands on that last motion before your vote.
We called out for someone to unmute and they did not, so we are moving on. Thank you.
I, John Chilcote, move to approve the villa assessment for landscape and maintenance in the amount of $11.72 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, to be reevaluated in January 2027 based on actual cost.
Seconded.
I think we need to do a bit of explanation here, and Becca, do you want to start?
All right, I'll start. There was a villa ad hoc committee. Villas are to pay a special assessment. And the villa ad hoc, there was a villa ad hoc committee put together to decide what that special assessment should cover and how much it should be, or percentage-wise or something. What they had been paying was approximately the cost of one landscaper, salary only, for the year. They decided that we needed to reevaluate and look at a different methodology, and that was handled by the ad hoc committee. So now I will let John take you through that process.
So first of all, I want to highlight something, a potential conflict of interest, because I live in the villas and this affects finances for the villas. That being said, I want to acknowledge somebody that helped get this started. Mickey Aston in 2020 and I were talking, and her name is actually associated with the line item in the master project list, line item 251, that says it says disclose the nature of the villa's extra assessment and use of funds, and that was started back in 2020. And the Villa Ad Hoc Committee has been working with the Finance Committee back in those earlier days, and we were finally told that they didn't know what it was for, and we would have to figure it out ourselves. So, is the Villa Ad Hoc Committee. So they've been working for the last couple of years to try to figure this out. So that being said, thanks, Mickey. This special assessment has been going on for 41 years. It was written into original documentation, and it's specifically for private. It's specifically to reimburse HTCA for the maintenance, landscaping and maintenance on private property in the villas. For 41 years, we really haven't been following the law, which the law says that the money can only be spent for the specific purpose that it is taken for, and the revenues and expenses have got to be treated and transparent. I mean, tracked and transparent, and it's got to be based on a cost basis. Well, when you look at someone who's one of our workers in the villas, they're working on common area, and then they'll be blowing on private area, and that sweep, and they're coming back in common area, and there's no way that you could figure out what the cost is. It's just impossible to figure out exact cost to associate with what they're doing on private property. So what the Villa Ad Hoc Committee did was determine how much acreage is in the villas and how much acreage is on each specific lot. And they went and looked at all 128 lots, and they determined how much acreage or how many square feet was on each lot, so that they could accurately determine what percentage of the private property in the villa area is related to the overall common area. So using that, it came out to 32.4%. And so that's the basis that we've used in this calculation of $11.72 a month. That's 32.4% of the area. So can I amend this motion? How do I amend the motion? Because I want to add something to it. Okay? So I would like to amend the motion to state, and I'll give you a copy of this, Darlene. I, John Chilcote, move to approve the villa's assessment for landscape and maintenance in the amount of $11.72 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, to be reevaluated in January 2027 and each subsequent January using the proposed cost-based allocation method of 32.4% of the total cost of the villa area landscaping in order to determine the yearly special assessment for the upcoming fiscal year.
Second.
Okay.
I seconded your amendment, but I think we're not looking at one particular piece of this, which is we've agreed to the 32.4% for the current next fiscal year, 26-27, and agreed to reassess. But we have not addressed the issue if a third of a landscaper's time is enough to do what is necessary to be done in the villas. So I'm not sure how we address that. That is an issue. I'm willing to go with the 1172 at this point, or, because that's all we have to work with. But when we assess in January, I think we need to look at how it's maybe calculated. Is it sufficient? Is it not sufficient? So I'd kind of like to take off that, just that last piece, that it will be reassessed January 27, and maybe take out the 32.4%, that we will reassess what the actual cost of the villa landscaping is.
Well, my understanding is it'll be reevaluated every year. And how would you come up with what the assessment would be if you didn't use the 32.4%? I mean, we may wind up having to have two people there, but it's still going to be 32.4% of the two people.
Of two people.
Yeah.
So it'll be 32.4% of whatever the total cost is for the
Yes.
time required.
Yes, whatever the time is required. It's got to be cost basis. And how else are we going to come up with a cost basis if we don't use something like that? Because you can't tell how much time people are working on.
Okay, but when we use 32.4%, that's a third of a person.
Right.
We have then a third of two people. We don't know that.
Well, we don't know that. We won't know that till January next year, and then it may change in the following year. But every year, whatever charge is being allocated or spent, what are we spending for landscaping in the total common area and the private area, 32% of that, 32.4% of that would be what the villa assessment would be. Otherwise, we're right back to where we've always been, to just guessing, and it's got to be cost basis.
I understand that, but right now we're guessing that 32.4% is going to be adequate.
Yes. If it's not adequate, we'll have to go up. But the only reason
That's
it
all
wouldn't
I'm
be
saying.
adequate, you would have to add more people.
Okay. I think we're sort of saying the same thing. I'm not sure.
It also has to do with the worker. We've had workers over there that have taken 3 times longer to do something than anybody else. So, it all depends on that too. Not that we don't want to pay the money, more than happy to, but we need somebody that's going to do it adequately and weekly.
I think that this is new. It's been, the villas assessment has been around in this resort since day one. This board, with help from the Villas Ad Hoc Committee, has finally at least come to a measurable cost basis for what is actually done on the private property, which is a huge step that we have never taken before. And I think what we're looking at now, as Cliff spoke to, and this is the responsibility for what Cliff spoke to is going to fall to our management team, specifically Bradley, that the person there who is 1/3 of a lawn maintenance person is actually there working alone, one person, 1/3 of their 40-hour week, taking care of the private property in the villas. And I want to throw like another little thing in here. There are some people in the villas that virtually have no private property that will need any sort of maintenance. And yet those people, per the documents that were created 40 years ago, do have to pay this landscape assessment. So for the first time in the history of Happy Trails, we are addressing the best way we can with the information that we have, much of it provided by the Villas Ad Hoc Committee, much of it worked on by the Finance Committee, running the numbers of what an actual cost of a person is. We have finally at least come up with a 6-month test solution, which will be reevaluated in January. So some things don't happen overnight, but we are definitely moving in the right direction with respect to the villas assessment. Owners?
Marla Festinese, lot 2323. I am reading this for somebody else. I prefer not to. Okay, Mickey. And I don't know her lot number. So, lot 13. Okay, this is not what was spoken at the planning meeting. What is so funny about that, Bradley? What's so funny? That I did not know her address or I did not know her lot number?
What's the question, Marla?
This is not what was spoken at the planning meeting. It was to be $17 and reevaluate in October. Becca said 50% of the 34, so it would be $17 per month. Now, I wasn't at this meeting, so I'm speaking for somebody else. And then she said, why was this not shared prior to the meeting? This affects all owners because a reduction of money reduces our budget.
She is correct. That's what we said in the planning meeting. However, there were subsequent meetings. Myself, John, Brad, Darlene, were you there too? Oh, yeah, John, or Tom Corkle. And we talked at length, great length, about what would be fair. Because the Villas people did not feel, because there was only 20, at that point, it was 27%. Now it's 32.4% of private property. Why should they pay 50% of the cost of a landscaper? So we came up with a compromise, which was the 32.4% and the entire cost related to a landscaper plus supplies. And that's what was calculated at the $11.72.
What I'm hearing is that you had other meetings after the planning meeting. Okay,
Yes.
Were those posted?
However, this does not affect the overall operating budget.
Please answer the question.
From the time that the operating budget was approved, for the operating budget that starts July 1st, 2026, this is a line item. The Villas assessment line item in,
Okay.
the cost out. It does not affect the rest of the operating budget in any way.
Okay. But my question again is, was this done in open session or was this done in closed? Because if you were all gathering together after the planning.
It wasn't a board meeting. It was the Tom Corkle, who is on the Villa Ad Hoc Committee.
Okay.
John and Becca.
Okay.
And Brad and myself.
Okay. I appreciate you clarifying that. Thank you,
You're
darling.
welcome.
Can I just make one statement? The $17 was just an estimate. The $11.72 is a fact-based, cost-based number. The 17 was a guess. This is a cost-based, fact-based number.
Thank you, John. Roll call vote.
May I speak?
Aaron, 536. So I just want to touch base on where you're talking about having one person there. I think you were talking about one person, 5 days a week for 4 hours, or however you're calculating all this stuff. And then you say, we want a guy that does an adequate job. I think you need a guy that does a good job, not just in the villas, but everywhere on our property, our operations people need to stay on top of our employees to make sure they're doing the job that they need to be doing and that they clean up after the job that they do. I mean, in the pool, for example, there was empty Gatorade bottles and all kinds of trash in the pool.
We have to talk to the motion.
I'm talking about people you're talking about hiring. So that's the motion I'm talking about, that we're going to make the right decision for the people
No,
to
the
do the job.
people, no, this is simply about the Villas assessment.
There is somebody that wants to talk that has their hand up, I think. also.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone online? Okay.
Karen Stewart, Lot 1389. I have a question, and if I'm a little naive about the villas, I apologize. But if we're only doing the landscaping for private property, and that's what we're charging to the villas, aren't there some common areas that are dedicated to the villas? I mean, with actual signage? So if any common area is dedicated to the villa, then I think they ought to cover those common areas, like pathways and et cetera. Now, if we're not, and those are common areas for the whole resort, then I think that needs to be clarified.
Every common area in the resort, be it in the villas, in the ranch, in the garage section, every common area is common area to every single owner in Happy Trails. So if you wanted to go to the villas and they have quad areas that are common areas, and you wanted to go to the villas and take a couple of chairs and sit there, you are more than welcome to do that. That is common area.
Thank you for that clarification. That was exactly my question. Isn't there signage currently? I thought there was dedicated to villa, villa only, villa. Okay, then I take back my question, and thank you for clarifying that, Jennifer, was my question.
Call for the vote. Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Cliff Giroux,
Yes.
Fred Rand is absent. John Chilcote,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
The final agenda item today was to choose members of the management, agreement ad hoc committee. And to date, we do not have enough volunteer applications to cover all of the different sections. So until we get enough volunteer applications to cover all of the sections, we will hold off choosing this committee. So if you know people, please encourage them to fill out an application and to put it in the voting box. And we will make certain that as soon as we have someone represented from each committee, or I'm sorry, from each section, we will form the committee. I do have some remarks. We do, but we would like to continue to get representation from all sections. There are several that we do not have at this point, okay? I do.
There are hands raised. There are hands raised.
I don't know. I do have a couple of comments before we end the meeting because it is important and it's a subject that is relatively new.
My hand's raised on
Arizona
what you
state
just said.
statute involving board executive sessions has changed, and most of the people in the room are aware of that. The board can discuss the following in executive session. However, all voting will occur in an open board meeting. Legal advice, here are the things that can be discussed in executive session. Legal advice from an attorney for the board or the association. Pending or contemplated litigation. Personal, health, or financial information about an individual member of the association or individual employee of the association or individual employee of a contractor of the association. Matters relating to the job performance of, compensation of, health records of, or specific complaints against an individual employee of the association or individual employee of a contractor of the association. Discussion of a member's appeal of any violation cited or penalty imposed by the association except on request of the affected member that the meeting be held in an open session. So the board of directors can still discuss these topics in executive session. the Board of Directors will be signing a revised code of conduct to align with the new state statute. Currently, the Board of Directors has signed a code of conduct that does not allow us to discuss any individual's request in an open meeting. So we do not wish to violate the code of conduct that we signed, and we will be signing a new code of conduct that aligns with the state statute. A couple other updates. The community conversations have been a lot of fun, and we have had a lot of people attend. They will be restarting in the fall, so watch for them to start back up in the fall. And one further thing about the City of Surprise Police Department. We invited Detective McGonigal of the Surprise Police Department to attend the May Town Hall meeting to share information about the complaint of embezzlement filed with the Surprise Police Department. He did not respond. We have invited him to attend the June Town Hall meeting, and we are still waiting to see if he will respond. I will keep you posted. If you're leaving Happy Trails to travel or return home, travel safely. If you're staying in Happy Trails, enjoy the Happy Trails summer activities. And since we're at the end of the May, I suspect I'm looking at most of the people who will be here. So enjoy your summer. Meeting adjourned.